All right.
Ching.
Ching chong ching. Anyways, welcome to Hit or Miss.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm Night Strike, and yeah, I'm sorry for that. I'm just...
Yes, that is Night Strike. His views and opinions do not reflect those of all of the co-hosts.
I was just screwing around, and I'm sorry. I forgot I had the microphone off, and, you know, shit happens. Anyways, moving on. I want to introduce my panel tonight. I've got Thus. What's going on?
Nothing much. Just taking a range officer test for USPSA. I have about 2 or 3 more weeks to do it.
Cool. And then we've got Nathan from sheepdogleather.com here for all your good holster and belt needs.
Did you say sheepdog or sheepdog?
Sheepdog leather.
Okay.
Yeah. So, make leather holsters and really awesome belts. And if you're interested, sheepdogleather.com, man.
All right. And my lovely co-host, Smeggy42. Thank you for that intro, Smeggy.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Thanks for everyone putting up with it all the time. I figured I'd go with the normal and the heavy metal version. I've been told people like the heavy metal version. So
yes.
Yeah, they like it when I do it. I don't know if they like it when you do whatever the heck that was.
All right, you got anything you want to plug, Smeggy?
Yeah, actually, the Daily Gun Show. I just came from there. We had a good topic today. We talked about Maryland, and we had Marco over there, who's from Maryland, so he had some insight on their gun laws. And there's like 3 or 4 things going through their, Senate right now that we touched on that and talked on some other cool stuff, and it was pretty good. In fact, it's still going on right now. They're finishing up. They got a couple other things. We hit all the major topics, but every weekday at 7 p.m., which if you're listening to this, you should know about that.
Yeah, you should. All right, and who else do we have here? We have a Travis P11.
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Travis. Check me out over on gunchannels.com, Ordinary Average Guy Gun Channel. And my channel on YouTube is Travis P11. Thanks for the invite, man.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Cool.
So tonight we're going to talk about a little bit of this, a little of that. I think what I want to start off with first tonight is I want to talk a little bit about this this petition that's going on at whitehouse.gov. I know we've gone over petitions before, but this one, because considering he hasn't done it yet, and he said to that he was going to remove all the executive orders that Obama put in place, but Trump has been a little slow on that take. But yeah, so we're going to talk about this. So put the link out there for people. People should go and sign that petition for us so that we might get that back. I doubt that's going to happen or that anything's going to work, but at least we're going to try and make the push.
At least you're positive about it. Jesus.
Yeah, I know. I am so positive. I'm not positive at all. But yeah.
What's the petition for? It's
this petition allows U.S. citizens to purchase obsolete military rifles, pistols, and ammunitions by repealing Executive Order 13637, which was instituted by Obama, because he said that he doesn't want these weapons to get in the hands of criminals when they were going to go to the CMP.
Well, yeah, they're weapons of war, dude.
Okay, let me try to explain this, because I did I covered this back when Obama passed the executive order. Basically, what is going on is back after the Korean War, when we switched to M16s, we had a bunch of leftover M1 Garands from World War II. We ended up giving a couple million of them to the South Koreans so that they could protect themselves. We loaned them. We did not sell them to them. We loaned them to the South Koreans with the understanding that we would get them back at some point. So when they attempted to start calling them back from South Korea, President Obama put an executive order in and banned them. These are 12-pound, 8-shot 30-06s from the 1950s and 60s is mainly when they were produced.
Weapons of war. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Again, not anywhere near what you can get at Academy now as far as a weapon of war, but a very nice collector's item. And the civilian marksmanship program, currently, I just went to their website. They're almost sold out of all their guns. They're almost out of business, to be honest with you. They've sold almost all their Garands except for 2 models and some of the higher-end sniper models that are $3,000 to buy. But basically, if
I can't afford that.
Yeah, if we were to repeal this act, we would bring back America's M1 Garands, and the civilian marksmanship program would start cranking out $700 Garands to the general populace who wants to collect them,
or who wants to use them for target practice or marksmanship for the civilian marksmanship program. What the hell? Sorry about that. I'm getting a little high strung here.
Well, and to be a member of the civilian marksmanship program, all you have to do is be on food stamps and receiving welfare to have a M1 Garand mailed to you. Oh, wait, no, that's not the requirement. My bad.
That's the wrong requirement. But no, you have to be. I think you only have to have participated in one. You have to be part of a group that is.
You have to be part of a recognized group from the CMP, a part of a club or a group that you're a member of.
I found one way to do it where there's a M1 Garand Collectors Club, which requires you to pay a fee of it's like $25 a year to get in. You become a member. Then all you have to do is go and do one shooting competition and have proof of it. And then, bam, you can get one from the civilian marksmanship program. That's it. That's literally all. But,
and you do still have to pay for it. You guys are saying you
Well,
get one.
yes, you have to pay for it. That's already implied.
They send it to you.
Well, no, just it might not necessarily be implied the way you were saying it. It made it sound like you just would get one.
Thank you fucking screwing my words. Thank you.
No, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Just trying to be correct here.
Okay, well,
especially because I was half listening. But anyways, you get the opportunity by being a member of that to buy them at a pretty good price. That's the benefit of joining, is that you get these, whatever you want to call them, weapons of war. That's now the phrase I'm going to use for the rest of the night because I think it's funny.
It's funny to call a semi-automatic rifle a weapon of war.
Well, it was used in a war. I mean, muskets are weapons of war, dude. Look, we beat the crap out of the English with them, so they're dangerous and scary.
Yeah, but the ATF doesn't consider muskets actual rifles.
Yeah, exactly, but they're weapons of war. See, we need to fix that loophole. Anyway, so the point is that they have pretty good prices for their members versus if you were just buying one on the open collector's market.
Right.
So, yeah, I would agree they should bring them back in and let our citizens buy them for whatever reason, whether they just want something to play with or they want to collect it or whatever.
Yeah. So if you're out there listening and you haven't signed the petition, please go ahead and sign the petition. It would very much help us let the government know that we're trying to get we're trying to get these rifles back, because there are a lot of people that want these rifles. I mean, they could, instead of wasting away in a warehouse or getting destroyed, they would be better put to use in the hands of the American people.
Yep.
So,
either as collectibles or just to shoot, or whatever.
Or teaching the younger generation how to shoot. Anyways, so that lasted a lot less. A lot less
Well,
than
what
I
would you
thought it would.
expect? A big fight or something? I mean, it's like, yeah, we agree. Move on.
We need to
It's our
stop
tax
again.
dollars that bought it anyway, so
Yeah, well, no, it's probably our grandparents or our parents' tax dollars that paid for all those rifles that they just loaned to them and never gave back.
Right. So they
We
have
never got 'em
they have government, they have United States government property.
and we were trying to get them back from the South Korean government so that we could sell them to the American people in the civilian marksmanship program.
And hold on, you have to realize that all of these guns are sitting in cosmoline crates in South Korea. They don't carry these things.
And some of these guns need to be repaired as well, because they're not all cherry picked. They're not all in great working condition. They're probably beaters, quite honest. I bet some of them look like my SKS. Okay, maybe not that bad, but you guys get the point.
Yeah, but I bet you they'll function with steel case stuff.
It still works. I just have to use brass in it. I know, but that's okay. You know why? Because I got that AK, and it works great with that new furniture on it. I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Took it out this weekend.
What about the mags?
The Croatia mags work great, man. Yeah.
What about the 74 mag though? Does that work in it?
I don't have the 74 mag. I sent that back. Yeah. So Travis.
Yeah.
I picked up the Croatian mag that you wailed on one of your videos with the Dremel. Yeah. I filled it up with rounds.
Yeah.
I took it outside. I put it in the rifle, and I ran through all the rounds. Not one hiccup, not one malfunction. It worked great.
I'm happy.
All I gotta say,
I hope you enjoy her more than I did. Okay, that's all I have to say. Yeah.
All I have to say is the builder of that firearm knew what the hell he was doing.
I agree with you. That is a master gunsmith right there. That is precision work. Yeah.
That rifle is Night Strike approved. It's also Foose approved because he's the one who fucking built it.
There you go.
I built it for myself, and then at a later date and time decided to sell it.
Yeah. And I'm glad he did, because I'm enjoying it, because it is, it's what a custom U.S. receiver with Hungarian markings. It's got East German furniture on it, and it's using Croatian mags. I told G-Web that the other day, and G-Web's like, it is ComBlock approved. That is a Soviet rifle through and through. Because it's using parts from all the Soviet ComBlocks.
It's like the 50 states of the AR. You got the 50 countries of the AK going on there,
Right.
Yeah.
But it's got a Tapco G2 trigger in it, right?
Well, yeah.
Is it Tapco? Is it a G2 or is it the other one?
It's G2.
It's G2, yeah. Because I can bump fire that thing no problem too, and I enjoy doing that too. I'm not going to take the stock off and put a bump fire stock on it, because that's just a waste.
Yeah. I think I contoured that hammer to knock off that middle ridge that is usually on the G2s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. I took it out. I don't know how many rounds I put through over the weekend, but I enjoyed the shit out of it. So, moving on. Travis wanted to mention shit that's going in. Where are you, Travis? Nebraska?
We're in Nebraska. Yeah.
Okay. Travis is having some problems in Nebraska because what he thought was a free state is ending up to be. I hate to use this term freely, but they're getting a little tyrannical.
All right, so
they're not California bad, but they're going a step in the other direction.
Well, okay, we've had the requirement for quite a while where you have to have a pistol purchase permit if you want to buy a pistol from either a dealer or a private sale. You have to have either a pistol purchase permit or a concealed carry permit to buy a pistol, not a rifle, not a shotgun, but if you want to buy a pistol. Yeah. And Nebraska, because they're losing money on the cost of having the local municipalities, the local sheriff's office, they're losing money on what it costs for them to run that paperwork. So now they want to jack the price up from $5 to $25 every 3 years. And you have to have that. And I don't understand why, because you still have to do a mixed background check.
You said every 3 years or whatever. Are you saying you have to have a permit of you get a pistol permit and it's good for 3 years. You can buy as many pistols as you want. And then after 3 years, you have to renew it. And then you can buy as many more as you want. Or is
Yeah,
it something you get every time you want to buy one?
No. You have to buy it, but it's just the fact that you have to have one, which I don't understand, because the rationale behind it as well, it gives the local authorities an idea as to who's going to buy pistols. I'm like, well, isn't that what the background check's going to do? I mean, and when you look at the requirements to pass the pistol purchase permit, to actually get approved for it, it's essentially the same paperwork you fill out on your next check. So I don't even understand why we even have it in the first place. It makes no sense to me.
Now, what happens if you don't renew it? It's not an ownership permit, is that correct?
No.
So you could get it, buy a bunch of guns, and then if you don't want to buy a pistol, you don't have to renew it.
That's true. Yep. And your concealed carry permit's good for 5 years. So once you get your concealed carry permit, you don't have to have that pistol purchase permit anymore.
Okay, so that works a little differently than, because Michigan used to have a purchase permit, but you had to get it, and it was only like the $5 or whatever, but you had to get it every time you wanted to buy a handgun. You would go in, spend $5, get the permit, you go buy the gun, they fill out like, the seller's information, the buyer's information, and the gun information, and then you turn that back into the state police. That's how they had their registry. Now you don't have to get that beforehand. You just have to do that to register your handgun after the fact, which also sucks. But okay, so Night Strike made it sound, I don't know if you did that for, gravitas or whatever, but Jesus Christ, dude, a permit going from $5 to $25 is a little different than Nebraska's turning into California.
Well,
that's a little bit different there.
Well, we're not constitutional carry, for one thing. And then if you do live in Omaha, you actually have to register your pistol with the local police department. All of your pistols have to be registered with them with the serial numbers.
Well, there's a little thing called the Second Amendment and the shall not be infringed. And I see when they're adding more fees or taxes onto your ability to own a firearm, regardless of what type of firearm it is, I see that as an infringement.
I mean, anything that's going to restrict your
Remember, shall not be infringed. But, here's the thing. Yes, I live in South Carolina, and I told you guys millions of times. The issue is, all I need to do is go down to my local shop, fill out a 4473, and take whatever I want that I can pay for home with me. Okay?
Yeah, I don't understand why it has to be any more complicated than that. I mean, to me, that makes sense.
All I have to do. I don't need a purchase permit. I don't need to go and get permission by some asshole who could be anti telling me, no, I can't have this. No. That's not how it works here. Here, I go down. I fill out paperwork. They call up the FBI. The FBI looks me up and says, okay, you can have it. Then I go home with my stuff after paying the good man. That's how it works. That's how it's supposed to work. I could do without the 4473, but government, what can you do? But the fact that they're doing this, I disapprove. Smeggy, I think it's bullshit that you have to do that up in Michigan. I think it's double bullshit. They're even raising the price and unjustly taxing you on a right in Nebraska with Travis. I don't like this shit. I don't like it. If it happens in any state here in the United States, I am opposed to this. And I realize I may be going on a tangent. I apologize, but I don't like it. Because they do the same thing in North Carolina. If you want to buy a pistol in North Carolina, you have to get a pistol permit from, I believe Matt said you have to get a pistol permit from the local sheriff. And for each time you go out and buy a handgun, you have to have that permit. So that means you have to go and multiple times. If you buy a gun like every other week, you have to go down each week that you do go and buy a gun and get that permit before you can go and buy it.
Hey, can I interject something?
Go for it.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so the NFA Act, you have to pay a $200 tax stamp and wait for the government bureaucracy to say it's okay for you to have a suppressor or short-barreled rifle. In the year that the $200 tax stamp was passed for the NFA, $200 was not what it is today. It cost $500 to buy a Model T Ford back then. So think about that. $500 for a car, and they wanted $200 to get a suppressor. They intentionally built that law to outprice it from the common man's ability. They intentionally wrote that law to only allow the rich to get a hold of these things. And they just didn't have the foresight to understand inflation at some point would make $200 relatively small in comparison. So we have to stand up and say, this is our right. You don't get to make us pay taxes and try to price it out of our price range, because his state could just as easily say it's $10,000 for a pistol permit.
Well,
Yeah.
there are some states on the East Coast that were going to jack it up from like 25 to 150 or something, or like every year. There's some, I don't know if it was in New Hampshire, Connecticut. Somebody was going to be jacking their pistol purchase price up like way worse than me. I mean, I'm not complaining about $25, but
I'm going to lose my shit. Seriously, Matt just went in. Matt's out in the chat, and he just said that, you know, in his current county, he can get 5 at a time with that pistol purchase permit. But in his old county, he used to only be able to get 3 at a time. That makes me even angrier. I don't want to go on a tangent, but that, you know, makes me even angrier.
Sum something up real quick here, real quick. So, $200 in 34 is equivalent to $3,658.06 today. So yeah, so anyone who could drop in this day and age, can you go spend an extra $3,600 and then go buy the gun on top of that? Like, that's ridiculous.
Or even worse, suppressor.
Right.
You know, a $600 suppressor, and then all of a sudden you gotta, you know.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's $4,000 now.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So
friggin' 6 or 7 times the price of the thing you're actually trying to buy. But
and you have to think back then, a Tommy gun was like $18.
but you can see why this makes me angry, right? Because, you know, it's not
I have
that hard.
no idea. Why would it make you angry?
It's not that hard for me, but when I
They're
see
just
that people
infringing on something. I mean, what's so wrong with that?
you know what's wrong with it, and
I know. I'm just trying to bait you,
Hold on,
trying to get you to yell out "shall not be infringed."
shall not be infringed.
Hold on. I want to say, let's just hypothetically say that you have a constitutional right to abortion, that we pass a law about that. And then some state came out and said, oh, but the abortion license is $4,000. What do you think would happen?
Revolt.
No, the United States government will come in and say you can't do that. You are going against a national law. You can't do it.
Yeah, it would be struck down in courts instantly. But when it comes to guns, it's not struck down instantly. That's what the catch is we have a constitutional right, and the courts won't step up and knock down these unconstitutional laws related to that right. But if we were to apply it to any other one of our rights, like let's say you had to pay a $3,600 fee for the right to speak in public. And then you have
or to vote. Like, what if voter registration costs $500 or $5,000 or something?
Yeah.
Or be able to type anything on a computer, because that is a high cap written word device.
Okay, so
I agree with you on that. Yeah, computers should be banned.
Mm-hmm.
Because stupid people are allowed to say stuff online.
It's a privilege to be able to use the computer, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want stupid people saying stupid stuff online. That would just be horrible.
Yeah.
Right. But I whenever I see something like this, it angers me because I don't have it as hard, and I don't believe that it should be that hard to go out and get whatever you want, is provided you can pay for it and pass whatever federal background check you have to have because of the government. But we're all U.S. citizens.
But the thing is you shouldn't have to have a background check.
You shouldn't have to have that background check. I agree, but the issue is it's there, so we have to live with it until we can get it stricken. Okay, until we can get rid of it.
But wait, everyone. We have to admit that the background check keeps criminals from having any guns. I mean, we haven't had a criminal with a gun for 20 years, since 92, right?
Exactly. It definitely works so well.
Or 2002, sorry.
Yeah. Cycle Camp and Matt, if you guys want to jump in and tell us your perspectives, because you are from states where this is affecting you, go ahead. I just sent you a link. If you don't want to, that's cool. But what other states is this in? I know Cycle Camp has mentioned that he has it in Connecticut. Matt has it in North Carolina. Do you guys know of any other states that are like this where you have to have a pistol permit in order to buy a handgun?
I know that New Jersey requires you to have some type of something card, a FOID card or something. I know that New York, you have to have a judge's permission to get a concealed weapon, which pretty much only security people can obtain there who work for the very rich who have influence. And again, let's think about this in the American way. You have a right to do something, but the right to do it means you have to pay off and influence people. That's not really what America's built on. I mean, nowadays it is, but that's not where we're founded on. And again, there are way too many things in our society and our government where people with money pay off politicians to prohibit the common man from having his rights. And that's one of the biggest problems I see with our country right now is we need to stop letting people write laws to prohibit people. I'll give you an example. If Night Strike came over to my house here in Texas and I got out my pair of clipping shears and cut Night Strike's hair, I would be breaking the law. I'll give you an example.
What?
Bill,
I'm so confused what just happened. You're giving out haircuts? What?
License,
it's illegal if you do not have a license to cut someone's hair in the state of Texas.
What the hell?
It's like that in a lot of states.
That's
like you can't open a.
You have to be licensed in Nebraska to cut people's hair.
Like
Well, for a living at least,
It's like a beauty salon license.
Yeah,
I don't have a license, and I cut my own hair
legally in most states
You're
because
committing your own felony.
and here's the reason why. It's because the hair salons and stuff like Pro Cuts and everything, they lobbied politicians to say you have to be licensed to do this so that people can't just open up a barber shop in their own house without going and spending $10,000 getting a cosmetology license or whatever it's called.
Right. Oh yeah, it's all a big. There's a lot of industries that are like that where they actually do like the restriction because it adds a barrier to entry. And since they're already in the market, they want to have as little competition as possible. It's the same thing with cab medallions and all sorts of other stuff.
Uber
Car dealerships and all sorts of crazy things. Like if there's a limited number or there's some type of regulation you have to go through, then the people that are already in business have a huge upper hand than someone who's just starting out.
All right, let's scale it back and go back to the original topic at hand.
Like Smeggy said, Uber broke the cab industry because the cab industry had these laws put in the 70s, and they lost their influence and their money. So when Uber came out, no one would enforce the rules of the cab industry on Uber, and they let it run.
You know why? Because people got pissed off at cab prices.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, there are individuals in our society that pay off politicians to put up barriers to entry.
Well, and
free trade.
And so the cabs do still have that. Like Uber cannot use like the cab land at an airport or whatever. So you would think airports would be a great market for Uber, right? Because I mean, you just landed in a city, you hop on your phone, you hit a button, bam, a car pulls up, picks you up, takes you to wherever you want to go. Well, they have to go through the same long line that like all the other passenger pickup people have to go through, instead of like the cabs can pull right up front, like in their own separate lane.
All right. So we have Bill in here from Connecticut. He's a Cycle Camp over on Gun Channels. Hey, Bill, how's it going?
Fine, thank you.
All right. Now we're talking about these pistol permits and whatnot, and we were talking in a lobby a while back, and you mentioned that I guess starting this year they're putting laws in place to literally hose your ass, and I mean literally because you're gonna get screwed royally with the new fees they want to put in place. And this is related to what we're talking about. So can you tell us a little more?
Yeah, 6 or 7 years ago, the cost of a carry permit was $35. And then a year or two after that, they jacked it to $70. And now they want to jack it to $300.
Yeah, one of my managers, he's from Connecticut, and he's got an out-of-state permit, and he was just like, I don't know if $300 is worth being able to carry in North Carolina, so I think he's looking at getting his NC license now.
That's the budget proposal that's on the table. It has been fiercely opposed by the folks in Connecticut. And basically on the grounds, there's two grounds basically, or three, I should say. The first ground is that it's discriminatory against low-income people, so it hurts the people that the Dems love the best. The second ground is that it's unconstitutional because the Fourth Circuit Court, which is not our circuit, but the Fourth Circuit Court has ruled that you cannot tax a constitutional right or put a fee on a constitutional right other than to recoup the cost of processing the permit. So the permit, it's okay to have a fee for the permit and a fee for the NICS check and the fingerprints and all that stuff, but you can't do it to make money. And since the budget proposal says all the money's going to go right into the general account, we've pretty much got them there. And the third reason that it's a problem, what the hell was the third reason? I know there was a third one, but it slipped my mind here. So if I remember it, I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Oh, and I'd strike the pistol permit system. Ours is an old Jim Crow law. So I think a lot of the southern states at one point had a similar process. And it was basically, you had to get the sheriff to say, hey, you're a good person, I'll give you a permit. Oh, and if you're, an African American, too bad, you can't have a pistol, not in my county.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. They don't have that in South Carolina. Granted, I've only been here since like 2005, 2006, around then. That's when I moved here. So I've been here like 11 years. But the thing is, here, all we have to do is just fill out a 4473 and then pay for what we want and take it home.
Well, they tried to change the law when we changed the law, saying that if you had a concealed carry, you could carry your gun on campus as long as you had it locked in your car. They tried to throw a provision in there to get rid of the whole pistol permit process, and the Sheriff's Association and every town for gun safety or Moms Demand Attention, one of those groups, they lobbied against it and they won out, and that got taken out of the bill. But our new bill, our new constitutional carry bill, there's two versions of it, and one gets rid of the pistol permit provision and the other one keeps it in there.
Yeah. For anyone that doesn't know, this is Matt. He's one of the Gun Channel's regulars. He's the guy up in North Carolina that I was talking about earlier. So I called Bill and Matt to come in here and give us a little insight on what's going on in their states, so that we could expand the conversation on this, because I think it's shit that you guys Bill's government is trying to actively unconstitutionally tax them for their rights, and Matt, he has to pay a fee for his right, and I don't. And then Smeggy and Travis P11 are getting it too. I don't like that. I don't support that. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen, but it is. So I honestly believe that we need to start, going out there more, I guess, ourselves as individuals, meeting up with other individuals that don't like this. And I guess joining some form of, your local state advocacy group to, actively oppose this and voice your displeasure with, shit gun laws.
Yeah. And the thing is, in Durham County, where I live now, the pistol permit application, it's literally a 4473. The only thing they add on there is if you have a suspended license due to drunk driving, you can't get a permit. And that's the only thing different between that and a normal 4473 for a long gun.
I don't even.
Nope, no long guns. Need a special permit to purchase those too.
In your state?
Wow.
There's a tiered system of permits and certificates. The lowest level is the ammo certificate. You cannot buy ammunition in the state without a certificate either. So the lowest tier is an ammunition certificate. Then the next one up is the long gun purchase certificate, which also allows you to buy ammunition. Then the one after that is the handgun purchase certificate, which also allows you to buy ammunition, but does not allow you to buy long guns. And then there is the carry permit, which trumps everything and is good for all uses.
Okay, so Bill, if you want to go out and buy a new or used pistol right now, okay, so say tomorrow you decide I want a 1911, okay, and this is just example. Do you have to get a permit to purchase that day, or do you have to go in and file the paperwork, pay the fee, and then wait 3 weeks to get the paperwork to
No, I would either have to have a purchase permit already,
okay.
or I would have, but it's not one permit for each gun. It's a permit to purchase, and that's good for 5 years.
Okay, so the permit is basically set up to where you can buy as many as you want, as long as you have that permit.
So
Well,
yeah,
it's not
sounds
as
like
many as
just
you
like
want.
the Nebraska thing. Once you get it, you can go get whatever the heck you want while you're doing it.
Yeah, sort of, except you can't buy more than 5 guns a month or some weird ass thing like that.
In my state,
working well.
it's 1 permit per gun. No, I can go get 5 permits, and I can go back the next week and apply for 5 more. You just have to wait 2 weeks for them to approve them.
Right.
So
So yours is a one per.
Yeah, so I'm like limited to like how many pistols I can buy is how many permits I have on hand.
Right, and we don't have to register ours with the
Yeah.
I mean, we register them with the state, obviously, because we have state forms we have to fill out, but we don't have to register with like our local Leos or any of that junk.
In Durham County, they used to make you do that. It was the only county in North Carolina that required that, and it got struck down as unconstitutional.
Glad I never moved to Durham County.
Yeah.
Bill, I got a question for you then. You're in Connecticut, right?
Yes.
Have you had any firearms companies bail out in like the last 10 years just because of all the regulations, kind of pulling a Magpul where they kind of, they're more or less out of Colorado and moved into other states now because they don't want to deal with the regulations in their own state?
Yeah, I think Marlin and Savage both left.
They're all, well, then they get bought out and taken to New York with Remington.
Yeah, Freedom Group,
Okay.
that kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
But even Freedom Group is looking at moving away from the Northeast because of the regulations and laws themselves.
I can speak a little bit to this. Is
Okay.
a lot of large companies right now are reevaluating because of the laws, the taxes, the costs associated with doing businesses in ungun-friendly states. And when you look at like old Rick Perry was running around all these states and bring your business to Texas. Land's cheap. We're a right-to-work state where unions don't have any power, and there's no state income tax. And tons of people are moving down to Texas to build new facilities because the unions don't have any balls down here. They can't do anything. They don't have control because the laws aren't built to favor their unionization. So you have to come down here and you have to work. Let's say you want to build a 100-acre plant, or a 50-acre plant. You can do that down here without much cost. You've got airplanes. You've got semi-trucks. You're in the center of the United States. You've got FedEx and UPS shipping like mad dogs out of here. Amazon's moving all their facilities down here. Amazon is moving most of their facilities down to Texas, North Texas, because the Northeast is ridiculous. They got so much bullshit, so much law. Sorry, Rich. They have so many laws. They have so much union. They have so much everything. You can't compete. It's not a fair workforce or environment. So all these companies are, if they're looking to expand, they're doing it in Texas, they're doing it in Georgia, and a few other places.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think North Carolina, I think Bushmaster moved here when they left New York. And I think we've got a Remington plant down here now, too.
I think Stag Arms might have moved out that way too.
Yep, we got FN and Palmetto State Armory here in South Carolina. We also have PTR, and we still have that small factory that Daniel Defense built, but they're they're starting to move a lot of their personnel back to Georgia, so they can.
Glock's in Georgia, right?
Yeah, Smyrna.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? If the Germans are moving in, it's got to be efficient.
There you go. Actually, Glock isn't German; it's Austrian.
Isn't
Well,
HK?
difference.
Isn't HK bringing a plant to Georgia?
I'm not sure on that one.
Because I feel like I read an article that they've invested like.
Didn't HK get the new M16 contract or M4 contract? If so, they need to produce them in the U.S.
The pants out in
What?
Gun Channel side said Ohio, and in Ohio we have High Point. Well, that's not a plus. That's actually a minus, technically.
Well, actually, that is a plus
Hey.
because Ohio won't go anywhere because High Points weigh so much. It's unmovable.
That's true.
Yes, there's another
They
reason not to
they
like
can't.
Ohio. Thanks, Pants.
FN's got the contract for the M4 now, don't they?
FN's got the contract right now.
HK.
Okay, that's what it is.
HK makes the M27, I think.
They also make the 416. They
Yeah.
might have. We might have bought more 416s for the military too. So that might be what it is.
All of Delta Force has switched over to the 416.
Hey, SIG has the new contract for the new Army pistol. Where are they based out of?
German.
New Hampshire,
I don't know, but they're going to have to they're going to have to build a plant here for it.
Exeter.
They already have to have a plant here. They have to have an American president.
Exeter,
Yeah.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Exeter, New Hampshire. Yeah, that's where my SIG came from. Yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's actually a gun-friendly place up there.
Hey, here's a funny story.
Northeast.
When they brought the general in front of Congress, you're doing the new modular handgun project. How much have you spent on it in the past 10 years? And he told them. And they said, if you just had your choice to pick a gun, what would you do? And he said, a Glock like all the cops carry. And by the way, it would cost less than this project to outfit every person in the Army with a Glock. They spent more money on a new handgun than it would just to buy Glocks for everyone in the Army.
See, I had heard a rumor at one point that Glock actually got pretty far in the trials for the M9, but he refused to build a plant here or sell the rights to the government.
It's the rights.
It's
Yes.
the right. He already has a plant in Georgia, so it's the rights.
Well, no, he's
That's
talking about
thing
the
is,
M9
he's
back
gotta
in the
sell the
80s.
patent.
and
I'm talking about the 80s trials.
Mossberg moved up from the north all the way down to Texas, and they're headquartering everything out of Eagle Pass, Texas. They even they're also doing all their firearms productions in Texas too. So while we're on the page of companies that have moved down south and to Texas.
Well, and here's the thing is, we currently are going through a financial upswing now that it appears that people are deregulating. And to my earlier point, it's about deregulation. When you go in and you put people into these big government bureaucracies who are going to cut the staffing levels and cut their missions to where they're not going to be so bureaucratic, and it's going to eliminate red tape from people starting businesses, that's why the stock market's jumping up, because the red tape that was tying them down and preventing people from entry to markets, that's why the stock market's on the upswing. It's because they know that Rick Perry, when he's in the energy department, isn't going to go and chop the nuts off some new startup business that wants to sell electricity by burning something or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like there's so much government red tape to get into business that keeps businesses from going into business or switching businesses because it requires so much money to pay off the politicians and to pay off the bureaucrats. When you cut that, all of a sudden business is like, wow, I got a great idea. I can go into business.
Yeah, my roommate, he's a general manager for U-Haul, and his stocks have jumped like 30% since Trump got in.
Now, I work for one of the major banks. We went from $15 to $25. 15 to 25. And what has changed? Nothing.
Nothing.
No laws changed. No rules have changed. Our profit margins, we had 18 billion last year. So that didn't change anything. We had 17 billion the year before. So nothing's changed except the fact that he's in there and he's putting people who will deregulate the government bureaucracy in place.
Or if not deregulate, at least not add any more.
Well,
No, he's
I love this
deregulating.
whole,
He's
for
cutting. Sorry,
okay,
go ahead.
sorry.
No, I'm just saying. But if he wouldn't, which is as of now looks like the worst case scenario, they at least know for the next 4 years that of what rules they're going to have to play with, instead of we're going to start playing with these rules and then halfway into a deal or almost finish the deal, all suddenly the rules change.
So
that's what I was saying.
That's not the thing. Is if Trump moved in and just said status quo, the stocks wouldn't jump. The fact that he's putting people in who will specifically go and change the mission statements from the prior administration's ideas to deregulate, that's what's causing the stock market to jump. Because if he just moved in as president and said, I'm not replacing anyone or anything or doing anything, everything would have remained the same. It's the fact that he's putting people in there that specifically are business friendly and are going to deregulate. And right now, like look at that pipeline from Canada down to the middle of the United States. Obama cock-blocked that entire thing for 5 years. Just put red tape on it to where it couldn't work. And now Trump moved in and goes, nope, build the pipeline. And it's going.
Yeah, some regulation is good because some of regulation helps the people. Okay, some of it does. Not saying all of it does. Some of it does, but some regulations only hinder the people. And the problem is finding out which does what and what helps people and what doesn't help people. What helps companies keep people and hire people, and what doesn't. So,
actually, hold on, Nice Strike. Let me interject this. Regulation in our government is specifically designed by our constitutional fathers to have us write laws and regulations that will prevent harm from other people. So I might say I want to build a flamethrower factory next to a balsa wood house town, and regulations would simply state that's not a good idea to build flamethrowers next to balsa wood town. Okay? And they would put a regulation in for that. The problem is we currently use regulations to where I say, I'm a politician. Give me some money here. Oh, that's some nice money. Now I'm going to write a regulation stating only you can cut hair. Only you and your friends can cut hair now that you paid me off. I'm going to write a regulation against all those other people, those bastards that want to get out a set of scissors or a pair of clippers. That's the regulations we have now in place, where it isn't a free market. It isn't a right of choice. It hampers business.
All right. But there's also the point, sometimes deregulating is bad, especially in the point of, you know why we got to the point we did with the housing market crash? It's because Clinton.
I totally do, but go ahead.
Yeah. You totally do, because you work for.
I've researched it quite extensively. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, I mean, that was a bubble. It's saying, these guys. I'm betting that these guys are going to make their payments on time, and on and on and on. And so a $100,000 house bought everything's been bought and everything. It could be like $1 million profit somewhere.
No, it had nothing to do with that.
It had to do with the deregulating some of the banking.
Oh my God! What the hell are you talking about?
Didn't have anything to do with
guns. But secondly, it was the regulation that forced the people to give a certain number of mortgages to people who weren't very qualified. So they were giving it to everyone and their frickin' brother, and then those people didn't pay, and they just said, "Well, screw it, we'll just give out some more mortgages."
Oh,
It
hold on, hold
was
on.
deregulation of the banks that caused that whole thing.
The rabbit hole goes deeper than that. Okay, so Congress got together a long time ago, and they said poor people can't buy houses because banks won't lend them money. So we're going to create the first ever corporation created by government. Government created corporation, and we're going to call one
Central Bank,
Fannie Mae, and one Freddie Mac. And they will buy the mortgages of the poor and destitute for us, and they're backed by the government.
That's a lot of quotes.
And so
That is a lot.
I thought maybe Little Bunny
I'm sorry.
was talking there.
But what I'm trying to say is the start of all this, the initiation of it, was the fact that the government created two companies that no private company would ever dream of touching with a hole covered in shit.
Yeah, because their chance of making profit were non-existent.
Exactly.
So they created this setup company, basically, like the CIA would create or something, just this setup company to do this stuff. Well, over the years, all these people who wrote loans said, we can write a loan and sell it to Freddie or Fannie, and this thing can be a pile of crap. We can give them a dog turd and make 10 grand off of it in a week. And that's what they did. They kept feeding the dog crap to them. And then they would roll it into dividends and put it in the stock market. And some genius, if you watch The Big Short, figured it out. And he bet against it. And everyone thought he was crazy until 2008 when it all fell apart because he saw the writing on the wall. So if the government had never gotten involved, in the beginning, the banks would have checked the paperwork because they would have been on the hook.
Okay.
Get it? When my bank is on the hook, I check the paperwork. And I check
Freddie Mae and Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were specifically directed to write subprime loans by the political powers that be at the time. Because the whole deal was we want everybody to be able to afford a house, whether they could actually afford one or not. And that's what took those guys down. I mean, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were around a long time before the subprime mortgage business really took off.
Yeah, but they set the criteria for the subprimes to make a subprime and sell it off immediately for a profit. So if, let's say, I can buy Smeggy's snow cone and piss on it and sell it for $5,000, what's to keep me from buying snow cones from Smeggy every day of the week?
Yeah. So
I seriously question the sanity of anybody that pays $5,000 for that. I'll tell you that.
But they were.
Hey, Smeggy snow is pretty good quality snow. I can't be responsible to what Nathan does after it leaves my
I
possession.
get out with it. It's not so high quality.
No, it's not.
You know what is high quality is sheepdog leather holsters.
They are.
Just figured I'd plug something. Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get back.
So
you posted. Yeah, you posted something in the chat earlier that you wanted to go over. So let's go over that.
Oh Jesus, I got to open that back up. I gave up on it. I thought we were down the rabbit hole.
We're climbing back out.
This is it's just kind of interesting stuff. Jesus, like all the way at the top, ain't it?
Yeah, I'll repost it.
I just scrolled all the way up.
There,
jerk. Let's see, what is it? It's like the Motley Fool or whatever. It's a like investment thing. Like they do articles on all sorts of shit. So they're not pro or anti or anything. They don't care. They're just like, hey, look, these gun makers, these are the numbers. Like some of them are making money and whatnot. And basically what they're saying is that, you know, the gun markets is going down from what it had been. Basically, I think it was January and February are the first times that like the, you know, compared to last year's January and February, like it's going down. Now the gun sales are still up, like on the grand scheme of things.
Gun stocks are tanking.
Yeah.
But the main majority of the article was talking about the top U.S. gun makers as far as just like total volume and everything. So I found some of these interesting.
So who are the top three right now?
Well, I was going to go top 5 just for the hell of it. So
Smith & Wesson, Strom, and Ruger.
Yeah, let's just fucking spoil everything.
Let Smeggy go on.
So I was going to go for, feed the excitement a little bit. Savage Arms is number 5. And that's interesting that they only sell rifles and shotguns, yet, they still sell the 5th most in total volume. And then Matt's favorite, Maverick. Holy crap. They sell basically 500,000 freaking guns a year. Then Sig Sauer, which is split up with almost all their sales are pistols. And then they sell 36,000 rifles for a total of almost, 500,000. And then Remington, which is, a pretty good mix between, rifles are their most, it's 700, shotguns 300, and pistols.
But they
36.
do make pistols too, so.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting. And Smith & Wesson is their pistols are most, but then they have 200,000 revolvers, 200,000 rifles, and 183 shotguns. Smith & Wesson literally sold 183 shotguns in a year. Like, what the heck? First off, I haven't heard of a Smith & Wesson shotgun, but the fact that, like, even if they have one, 183. Like, that's it. Like, just literally, what?
Maybe it's in, like, Japan or something.
Maybe they had a limited time run.
Because I've never seen a Smith & Wesson shotgun.
I haven't either. I'm kind of interested now.
I've heard of one.
Yeah, I want to buy one, so maybe it should be 184. And then Ruger with
185. I want one too.
They got 700,000 pistols, 600,000 rifles. So it's fairly mixed to and from. And then 200,000 revolvers and 827 shotguns. So apparently Ruger makes shotguns also.
Not many if you looked at that list.
Oh, I know. Yeah, 800. That's like
800. That's only what.
That's just as nothing as the Smith & Wesson shotgun, but it's just
right.
It's just interesting to see it. Oh, and Glock just has a point 252,000, and obviously that's only pistols. They don't make anything else. And then you had Henry, which makes only rifles, 300,000. So it's just kind of interesting to see the companies. The ones.
Wait, Henry sold more rifles than Glock sold pistols?
Yeah, 306,000.
Holy shit!
It's a lot of Henry rifles. I'm gonna have to double check your data.
That's what I was thinking.
So the Smith & Wesson.
Well, I mean, they made 1,000 for that 1,000-man shoot.
Well, I'm just saying, when I go up to Cabela's, I see a couple Henry rifles and I see 100 Glocks.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
So the Smith & Wesson shotgun is called the Model 1000, and it's made by Howa Machinery in Japan.
Yeah, I figured. But you can probably still get one.
They've also got the Elite series.
I kind of want to get one.
Yeah.
Just because. I'll be part of the elite few of the less than 200 people in the entire country that have one.
No, they're on Gunbroker.
You could put it right there next to your DeLorean.
I went to college where DeLorean went.
Wow.
Hey,
not at the same time, just saying.
I want to say this about Howa is I would love to get a job for them and go over to Japan so I could help them make a rifle that would take a real man cartridge in it instead of all these 308s that they keep throwing out.
They're limited to their government limits them to what they can have in.
Oh, really? In Japan, they limit them to the size? That explains it. I'm sitting there going, why don't you make a 300 Win Mag or something bigger?
They don't have handguns over there too, right?
No, they're not allowed to have.
I thought you were wanting to go over. I thought you were wanting to go over there to get a new wife.
They're not selling hunting rifles in Japan. What the hell would you hunt in Japan?
They have mountains in Japan.
They sell hunting rifles and shotguns primarily in Japan. But it's a pain in the ass to get them if you're a citizen there.
But what are you going to hunt in Japan?
There's got to be like deer or something.
Yeah, they have stuff.
Maybe targets. I don't know. Paper.
They have animals there.
I mean, it's a huge physical area. There's got to be some kind of wildlife.
It's not huge. It's the size of...
They've got bears.
China?
Maybe they hunt those big ass
In
hornets they
Japan.
got.
Japan's a tiny little island.
They've got bears.
It's Japan, not China.
Oh, sorry, I'm back. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about what do you call it?
Oh, China has animals. Yeah,
They
China.
killed all of them off though.
Yeah, but no. Japan has
The only
animals.
thing
They
you
have
hunt
hunting
in
there.
Japan Is the only thing you can hunt with a Howa rifle in Japan is sushi.
They have deer. They have bears. They have other animals too. So
I would think that they have. There's got to be some like domestic stuff that's gotten out. Like they probably have like wild goats and pigs and
Well,
stuff.
they have
I would
bears.
think.
They have bears and they have wild boar. According to the thing I just looked
Well,
up,
No,
and they have hares.
no,
They've got-
sir. That is a wild pig. That is a wild boar.
What the hell are you talking about? You're weird.
I'm sorry. Robin Hood Men in Tights joke. Sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounded like a Mel Brooks type movie gag.
Yeah. Anyways,
Can you imagine
ridiculous.
if a wild pig or boar got on the train tracks and a bullet train hit it?
Bacon.
bacon.
Instant bacon.
It's
Spam.
bacon. Yeah. So, but
Instant spam.
Smeggy, you brought up a good point, and I know we talked about this before because you showed this article before, but it is very interesting on these numbers. Though, how accurate you think these numbers are?
I think they're pretty accurate since they're from the. I closed things. I don't remember what it is, but it's from something that's like their whole thing is the companies report how many things they sold, and they keep track because they mentioned in there that they released the numbers like a year later because if they released it like the year of, it could give like competitive advantages to different companies. Like so they don't want all the other companies knowing how many things they sold. Like in the last year, they can only look like a couple years ago.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to share
It's
this.
a publicly traded company. They have to drop that information.
It's a
But it
public-
is like that is an official number. Like that's what the company reports is saying. Okay, like Mr. Government Agent or whatever. Like this is what we've sold.
Well, they have to release it to their stockholders and be honest about it because they can be audited. But the key is this: is since a gun-friendly president has taken office in place of a non-gun-friendly president, sales are falling. So, what does that mean to our viewership here? It means that people are still buying firearms, but because of the 2012 till now up ramp in production of AR-15s and pistols and shotguns, all the major companies massively invested money into and have increased production capability of these devices. Now, demand is dropping because no one's scared anymore. So what's going to happen is they have overproduction capabilities, they have lack of demand, and supply and demand are connected. So supply is going up, demand is going down. That means prices have to fall. So what does this mean to you, the viewer? You, the viewer, in the next couple months should go buy an AR-15. You, the viewer, should go buy a nice pistol. Prices will drop. They're overproduced because there was such demand for such a long time, 5 years of heavy demand, and now it's falling off. It's going to drive prices down.
Well,
Yeah.
it's supply and demand.
Demand is down, supply is massive.
Mm-hmm.
What's that mean? That's good because if we wait a little bit, the prices are going to go down, as you say, and people want to get something that's not as expensive as it was like 6 months ago.
Say, don't wait too long. I heard some political rumblings that old Thunder Cunt herself might be planning a run in 2020.
Is she got to rise from the dead and come back and run for president?
I guess so. I saw a really good article Ben Shapiro posted about like her coming out of the woods, and they put a picture of her over the old like Bigfoot footage.
Well, that was from that whole thing because wasn't it like right after the election, she was like spotted like hiking or something.
Yeah, like
oh, she's just randomly wandering around in the woods.
Yeah.
Don't think she's doing that.
Okay. Just let me give you a little perspective. Just went to PSA, Palmetto State Armory. You can get a lower for $149, and you can get a fully built upper for $259. So mathematically speaking, that's $410 with free shipping and $25 to your guy. So you're talking what, $435 for an AR?
Yeah, but add 8.5% to that for me in state.
For you, yeah. But for me, $435 for me to get an AR-15.
Yeah.
I mean, has there ever been a time before where you could get an AR cheaper than an AK?
Never.
Cheaper than an AK.
Probably not.
Way
cheaper.
Can't buy them here.
See, Bill, start lobbying. Start saying we want some of our rights back.
Start lobbying. Holy Christ! Every time I do this, it's a whole 12-hour day. And yeah,
I didn't
that's
say
what
it was
I've
going to
been
be
doing.
easy.
I was about to say, so go to whitehouse.gov. Go to your.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't know if you guys realize this. You're talking to a dude who just finished giving testimony at a thing where he sat at the courthouse for freaking all day to give 2 minutes or whatever.
I know.
So he
12
definitely,
hours for 3
he's
minutes.
one of the good guys for sure. I've talked to him before.
I know. I was just teasing Bill. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, I know that.
I was just saying, go to whitehouse.gov. Go to your local representative and senator's webpage. Tell them you want the Hearing Protection Act passed. Tell them you want the NFA 1934 bill kicked out or whatever, or amended or whatever.
Tell them you want the 1968 GCA gone.
Yeah.
Tell them you want your state in the United States of America.
All these things are just laws that got passed a really long time ago.
Yep. Did y'all catch any of the Gorsuch's testimony today? I guess they asked him.
Yeah.
I guess they asked him about the Second Amendment, and he was like, "The Heller decision is final. Period." It's like the Heller decision is the law of the land. Period.
Well,
that was the whole. I mentioned it earlier. It was.
That's crazy.
Feinstein was asking him basically like, "What's your personal opinion on Heller?" And he's like, "Well, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's the law, and that's what we're supposed to judge on." And she's like, "Yeah, but like, what's your personal thing about?" She's like, "Oh, I don't think the personal views have anything to do with it. We have to judge the law based on what the law is." And she just couldn't get it through her head. Like, wait a minute, a person would like vote or do something because that's what the law says. They wouldn't try and manipulate it just for their own personal views. Like I don't understand.
He just needs to croak
trying to
already.
get him to say that M16s and other look-alike weapons of war, that since the Heller-McDonald decision specifically called those out, would you say they should all be called out? And basically what he said was, sorry, there's also the doctrine of common use, and that has to be investigated. So he basically handed her ass right back to her.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he should do. I mean,
I agree. That's what he should do.
As
But they
much as
also
I don't
tried
even like
earlier
the
in
common use excuse, because the problem is, like, you could be like, well, what about full auto? It's like, well, they're not in common use, so we don't need them. The only reason they're not in common use is because we haven't been allowed to get them very easily.
Because they're banned, right? Or not banned. Very difficult to reach.
Well, no, they're banned. They're banned from being produced for the civilian use after '86.
Right.
That's not to say companies that are licensed by the federal government can go and make them for law enforcement or military, but no one else.
So here's a question: how many fully automatic weapons are controlled by the United States Army and the United States government?
Millions.
Tens of millions, right?
Yes.
So what dictates common use then?
By the citizenry.
Yeah, common civilian use. And that's the problem. And again,
I don't like.
But wait, hold on. Common civilian use? Wait, I'm part of the American militia. I'm of age and able body, and I'm part of the militia. As are all we.
I think that's what they used in the Miller case, or they tried to use. That
No.
his short-barreled shotgun was in common use by the military, and I think the judges said, "Well, shotguns aren't really used in the military," and he just didn't know what he was talking about.
Well, you also have to remember, I went and looked this up, and apparently the ATF said there's only about 240,000 machine guns registered with the ATF that are available for, the United States citizen, provided they're a rich person, can go out and buy.
Yeah,
Provided they can pass all the background checks and sign off and pay for the $200 transfer fee and all of that.
well, it's like I always joke around here that stuff like that's essentially banned, and G-Webs, he'll be like, well, it's just heavily regulated. I was like, well, I'll never have a job where I can drop $25K for an M16. So theoretically, they're banned unless I win the lottery or something. Or they're banned for me, I guess.
Exactly. And that's where I have the issue is.
Just win the lottery.
I've been trying for like 20 years. It ain't working. Well, not 20, but I think 15.
Well, don't be a quitter.
I'm not a quitter, but the thing is, I ain't ever gonna win. I'm wasting my $2.
But anyways, this just going back to that whole common use thing, like it does really bug me when they use that kind of stuff. Now, if it's used for good, then I guess it's better than nothing. But I just don't like that idea because, okay, even if it's not in common use, like someone invents a new thing that's kind of cool, but it's not in common use, so therefore you're allowed to ban it if you want. Like, since when has like being good at marketing have anything to do with whether a specific type of firearm should be legal or not? Like the zip gun, it's not in common use. That was the gun of the day on the Daily Gun Show today. It's not in common use. Now, if someone got a hair on their butt and said, "Hey, I'm going to ban this," it's not a common gun. That under the way it's written, like they would probably succeed in banning it because you'd have to say, "Well, you're right. It isn't commonly used," but that doesn't mean it's more dangerous because it's not commonly used. It's just it's kind of weird and not many people like it.
But you also have to remember this gun is not a great gun in itself.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. It should not be banned just because some people don't like it or whatever. Like, whoop-de-fucking-do. Maybe you made a gun that only one person in the world likes. Everyone else thinks it's stupid. Who cares? You shouldn't be banned just because it's not common.
Right.
I mean, let's think of things not in common use. The Wiley Magnum is not in common use. Does that mean it's any more dangerous than any other pistol? It's cooler, but it's not more dangerous. And I mean, let's think of some more exotics that are on.
Well, I mean, they use that kind of shit for like 50 cal rifles.
45.
And they go, well, you don't need a 50 cal rifle, and it's not in common use. The reason is it's fairly expensive, and the rounds are fairly expensive, so people don't really use it that much. But it doesn't mean that if someone has the money for it or whatever, like they shouldn't be allowed to. But they'll say, no, those are evil, scary military guns, and it's not in common use. Therefore, we're allowed to ban it. I think that's
the reason
a horrible
it's not in
test
common use is the cost.
Right.
Cost of entry.
Right.
That's the only reason.
Prohibitive.
That's the only reason stuff are not in common use. Because if it was cost prohibitive, if it was cheap enough to where people could buy it, people would freaking buy it.
Hey, you know what? APCs are not in common use, even without guns on them. But I would love to drive to work in an APC every day. That'd be awesome.
Here's the funny thing. If you want one, you can buy a surplus one from one of those surplus vehicle sites that, take the military vehicles, demilitarize them, and you could actually buy one and actually get a form from them so you can get insurance for it and drive it on the road.
Yeah, my neighbor across the street has a deuce and a half, and he drives it around all over the place.
You can run those
not in common use.
You can run those off
French legal.
Yeah.
I saw a two-wheeled scout car about 2 weeks ago rolling down the highway. I was like, that's something you don't see every day.
Yeah, I really don't like the idea that they're using a criteria of okay, we want to ban something. Should we be allowed to ban it? And the first step they do is say, well, is it in common use? Because if it's not in common use, then yep, you're allowed to ban it. And that is bullshit.
Yeah, it doesn't work with drugs.
If anything, it should work the opposite way because drugs are in common use, so therefore they should automatically become unbanned. But I mean, and that's why these states are using that kind of stuff for, AR-15s. And that one, even though I disagree with the idea that whether it's in common use or not depends on if it should be banned or not, I don't even see how they can say those things are not in common use. They are all over the place. It's one of the most common rifles in this country. And yet they're still saying...
Smeggy, my counter argument would be this, is that we should ban panties because panties are not in common use. I haven't seen any in a long time.
Well, that's because you're married, but,
Well, you're married. That's the problem.
Yeah, that is a problem. But
anyway,
You aren't actively looking for them.
As much as I disagree with their criteria, even under their own criteria, they're wrong. Because if they say, oh, it's not in common use, therefore we can ban it. I disagree with that statement. But even if you give them that and say, okay, you know what? That is a good test for what you can and cannot ban. The AR-15 still doesn't fall under that because it is in common use. So it's crazy.
Hey, and get this. What if I created a Judge Dredd gun with reactive ammunition where one caught people's heads on fire, another one exploded, another one was a depleted uranium round that could penetrate anything?
Oh, are you kidding me?
I could totally do that stuff. Build that gun, build that ammo, build all that, and it wouldn't bypass any laws whatsoever currently on the books, and make it, semi-automatic but with a bump trigger. I could rock all that stuff, go around all the laws, and I don't have a point to that. It just sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Nathan, I think you and I might need to talk later on about this off air, maybe a business venture or something, because you have an idea there.
Well, the whole point, though, is then you wouldn't be able to, if they didn't like the gun, you wouldn't be able to sell it and use it because it would not be in common use. So all new guns would be banned by definition, because how could they be in common use if they're brand new?
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It's not that like it has to be in common use in order to be legal. It's just if they're going after something, they don't go after something that's in common use. So it's like it's only a disqualifier, but they obviously don't follow that because they still go after AR-15s and claim that it's not in common use or whatever, which, again, like I said, I don't even agree with that criteria.
It's the most popular selling rifle in the United States for the past 5 years.
So that just proves it doesn't matter what they say. They want to ban the thing anyway. So if they say, well, I think the criteria should be if it comes in pink or not, it's allowed to be banned. And they'd be like, okay, here's an AR-15 that comes in pink. Oh, well, I mean, we shouldn't have them. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter what. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, so when I was 18 years old, right before I turned 18, they passed the Bill Clinton 1992 Act, right? So I rolled down to my gun store and I saw an SKS and I said, oh, that's nice. Isn't that illegal? And they go, nope. It has a fixed magwell thing. And I said, man, I'd love to buy that rifle for $189 back in the day, $189, except I'd love to slap some mags into it. And he goes, oh, well, we'll sell you the mags. You just get a screwdriver, take that thing off. So I bought 2 mags and an SKS for about $230.
Yeah, and
all right, Z's on my side. Go Wings. Mantha just
and 2 years ago I bought an SKS for $150. So,
oh, that's not bad.
I got to get out of here, guys. Catch you later.
All right, later, Foos.
I mean,
I guess we should.
See you, Goose.
See ya.
So I guess we should wind it down now. I think we're running out of steam.
Yeah, that's a good one. Hour and a half or so.
Yeah,
It's a good run.
I think we had a good chat. I think we did right by covering multiple topics tonight. I hope everyone that was listening and watching on the YouTube side and Gun Channel side, I hope you guys enjoyed this evening's Hit or Miss. I hope we can do it again next week. I want to thank Bill, Matt, Nathan, Smeggy, as always, and Travis.
And Travis.
Yeah, man. I'm always here at the end of the line. So.
I just like how all you guys have like names except for me.
Travis is just hanging on, man.
Travis just hanging on.
Literally.
Look at his avatar. He's hanging on for dear life, but he will hang until he has to.
I climbed that 8-foot mountain without oxygen. Okay, that was not easy. That was not easy.
I could have done
Travis,
that one sitting.
Yeah, man.
Travis, everyone, I want to let you in on something, Travis.
Yeah, man.
I will try to take my camera, my video camera. I'm taking my 8-year-old this weekend to Worth Ranch to climb cliffs for the mountain climbing Boy Scout adventure at age 12.
Okay.
Nice.
And I just want to share that with you, Travis, because he's going to smoke your ass. He's tiny. He's like a spider.
Where I live is completely flat. I'm sure he's got some sort of advantage over me. So yeah.
Oh no. He lives in a flat place, but
okay.
Easy. I mean, I'm going to be the anchor. I'm the guy on the end of the belay rope going, okay, well, kid.
Nathan, I was the chubby kid in PE class that can never pull myself up the rope, you know, the one attached to the gym ceiling. So I'm sure he's going to win. So don't worry about that.
They never made us do that.
Oh, God. I call it humiliation 101.
Anyways.
My son weighs 89 pounds. 89 pounds.
So, all right, guys. I think now is a good place to call it. So, again, I want to thank my panelists for showing up and giving me their perspective on the topics we covered tonight. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.